Under the Scope.
Hey everybody, it is Jared and Shane, and this is another Scope Summer Movie Review.
Knocking them out.
We are on top of things this summer, and boy, we've got a special effects extravaganza.
Yeah.
The only movie I can think of that will have more special effects for the rest of the summer may be that Valerian film.
Yes, that one probably has entirely 3D digital environments and characters.
But this movie, Jared, is all about apes, all about monkeys. Of course, we're talking about War for the Planet of the Apes. Jared, is the third film in the new Planet of the Apes trilogy. For now, directed by
Matt Reeves.
Cloverfield's Matt Reeves. And
I don't know who directed the previous two. I don't know if it was him or not.
I think that I think he directed the second one. I'm not positive, but I think he did.
Very good.
Starring Andy Serkis, right?
Andy Serkis as Caesar.
And who else?
The smart ape. I mean, there's only a few notable people that you know. The rest are just seasoned motion capture artists. You've got Woody Harrelson as the Colonel.
Yeah.
You've also got...
He's selling chicken in this one.
Get the new KFC.
Everybody.
Get the new KFC zinger.
Everybody does the Colonel, and it was Woody Harrelson's turn. They just decided to put him in a Planet of the Apes film. It was a strange combination.
He wouldn't wear the crazy Colonel hair.
Right.
I don't know what it is. The other person you may know is Steve Zahn.
Right.
Steve Zahn plays another ape named Bad Ape.
Big 90s actor. He still pops up from time to time, and he played...
He's
a standout character in this
from
film.
the Twin Cities, so there, we got to support him.
One of ours. One of ours.
Always a homer.
Jared, so we've got the cast nailed down. Do your best to tell the story of the movie. I mean, it's pretty simple, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, when you break it down, it is a fairly simple linear plot.
Right.
But this movie isn't about necessarily plot. It's about characters. And it's about the greater world, how things are. So we sort of open up with a conflict between humans and apes. The humans have tracked down the apes to what could be their stronghold in the forest. This is post the events of the second film, which really, really started up the war.
Did all the humans in that movie die, Jared? I don't know.
A lot of them did,
Did
yes.
the Kerry Russell character die?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Probably should have reviewed. And one thing that is sort of missing in the scope of these films is like what has happened in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because this is all pretty much contained to California.
Sure.
Even this film is California. Anyway, there's a battle. Lots of explosions, gunfire. The humans are defeated once Caesar and his apes show up.
And Caesar lets some of the
He lets some of them go, basically sending them back, as sort of an olive branch, going, look, I don't want war, so, I'm showing you
mercy.
That I'm not going to kill everyone. But the Colonel's not having it.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna double down, essentially, and he has 2 pieces of chicken breast as the bun.
Wow.
And I'm gonna put some ape meat right in between there.
Ape meat, double down. That's wow. So all of the apes have this stronghold, and they kind of go back to their main base, which is under a waterfall. Some other apes, Rocket, and who was in the second film, his Caesar's son, which I don't remember his name. Do you?
I don't. I know his second son named Cornelius.
The younger son is named Cornelius.
That's sort of ripped from the movies.
Yeah, you'll know that name from the classic films. Anyway, the scouting party comes back and talks about this. They found a place where the apes can hopefully move to and be safe from the humans. They have to cross a desert, and it's going to be very dangerous. But there's some debate over when they should leave, when they shouldn't leave. And then in the night, the Colonel's forces attack again. A few of them drop into their secret stronghold. There are some casualties, and it has become very apparent that apes need to move now. They need to leave. But Caesar is not going to go with them. He's got a vendetta now for a reason that you'll have to see the movie to understand.
Sure.
But obviously, so we've got these 2 ape parties that split, and so our adventure begins.
Right.
Caesar and his smaller party, which includes Maurice, the orangutan from the second film. You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Rocket, I believe, who was with his son in the
Right.
scouting party. A gorilla named Luca or Luna. There was a name, I forget.
I think, yeah.
And they pick up some other people along the way, including they come across another ape, an ape they've never seen before, who is sort of a product of this simian flu, having gotten smart and hung out with humans. His name is Bad Ape, because
Right.
that's how the humans referred to him, and he learned how to speak by watching humans, so he just assumes his name is Bad Ape because that's how they dressed him.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Steve Zahn character.
Correct.
So he's interesting because he can speak, but he never learned how to sign because he's not part of this larger ape community. So he's got his own interesting perspective, and he's also the comic relief in
Yeah.
this movie.
He's the most human of the bunch.
Right.
Uh,
Which this film needed some comic relief at times, and thank goodness that Bad Ape was there to
Yeah.
provide
It was pretty heavy.
It's a pretty dark, heavy film.
They also did stumble upon a mute girl
Yes.
as a part of their party, which she may be a product of the simian flu as well.
Yeah, there's this new version, this mutated version of the simian flu that isn't killing humans, but it is robbing them of their ability to speak.
Yeah.
Why are you doing 32 miles per hour, sir or madam?
That's a good question, Jared.
Anyway,
So, yeah, I mean, so that's the story.
yeah. Suffice it to say, at some point, our two ape parties are going to reunite.
Yep.
The circumstances will be dire.
There will be a huge fight between humans.
There will be more casualties. The
Woody Harrelson's
eponymous
crazy.
war will probably happen. Yeah, and the colonel will be colonel all the way.
Exactly. He'll be looking for the KFC Big Bowl or whatever.
Mm.
With corn, with the chicken and gravy? Come on.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Delicious. That's what I call it.
So, when we walked out of this movie, Jared, I said to you, despite whatever the plot is, if this does not win an Academy Award for Best Special Effects, there probably is no justice.
It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, this film...
And we talked about this on the last time we saw
Yeah.
this film. I mean,
It's only gotten better.
It was great, but it is better. It is amazing.
Weta Digital has nailed organic character rendering and animation.
Yeah.
They know how to do it.
Yeah, and maybe it helps that we're dealing with apes and not humans, because I'm always kind of comparing this to Rogue One,
Sure.
where you've got two completely digital characters, and for the most part, Rogue One was good, but I still could tell that was not really Grand Moff Tarkin. That was a person playing them, and the Princess Leia, I just felt it. When you go back and watch it, it's still, you can tell.
Yeah, I think it's better than you probably remember. But
I watched it again, so I watched it again.
I watched it a few times.
And
I liked it.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Listen, it was still an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But with this being apes, it was incredible. You've got different texture for hair. You've got them in the sun. You've got them in the rain. You've
Yep.
got them in the snow. You've got them in the dark. With the exception of a couple little things here and there, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was, like nothing I've ever seen before. It was amazing.
You're going to tell me that Woody Harrelson was CG the entire time, too, aren't you?
Yes, I will. I'm just look at Sammy waiting for us. The other thing we talked about during our exit interview was that this movie took on the inverse human to ape ratio compared to the first one. The first one, you told me, was mostly human.
Mostly humans.
The second one was a perfect mix, probably a 50-50 split. I remember there being a lot of
Yeah, or it sort of changed as the film went around, because there were a lot more humans than fewer apes, and the humans sort of might have been on the losing end of that stick.
Right. And in the third one, it is mostly apes.
Right.
You don't really get much of the main human antagonists until probably halfway through the film, at least.
Right.
Where, you get glimpses of Woody Harrelson's crazy Colonel character, but you don't really get to hear him speak until later.
Right, so we have to buy into these digital characters, these performance-captured characters. They have to be believable, and to me, they absolutely were. I was completely absorbed in their circumstance and their, everything that was going on with them.
Yeah,
I believed it.
So I think this is where our opinions could diverge a little bit.
Okay.
But I felt like the digital characters, the apes, that were extremely strong. But once we got to know the Woody Harrelson character, I felt he was way too cartoony, and I just didn't buy into his angst.
You didn't like his Colonel Kurtz?
Of his motivation for what he was sort of doing, and how he had his soldiers sort of blindly following him.
It was interesting. I mean, they call themselves the beginning and the end, Alpha Omega.
Right.
And it was very cultish.
Yeah.
It was very much like Apocalypse Now, or Apocalypse Now, as we saw written on a wall.
Absolutely an inspiration to it. I've seen Woody Harrelson do a lot of things, and I appreciate that he threw himself into this role.
Right.
But to me, it was not his best. It just wasn't his best. Now, I'm not saying that ruins the movie for me, because I think that so much of the stuff that we've talked about is so incredible.
See, I don't think it was not his best. I think maybe the character was just one-dimensional.
Yeah, maybe that's...
And even at the end, when there might have been a chance for him to have a bit of an about face, didn't seem like he was really into it. So
yeah. I mean, agreed there. I mean, it could be a shortcoming of the script.
So I think Woody Harrelson did as much as he could have, or as much as what was asked of him in this role. So
yeah, I didn't feel like his personal story of what drove him.
It wasn't that compelling.
It absolutely didn't connect with me as like, oh, this is the reason why he's doing all this homicidal crazy stuff. I was much more with the apes.
The apes, and I think that was the intent.
And
I don't know that
they were so subtle. It was subtle on that stuff.
Yeah.
And then them picking up the girl as well was a little weird. It works for the story, but it was a little weird. I think that for us to understand how she just sort of went along with it, maybe the simian flu degrades the brain more than we know.
It's possible.
I don't know.
I mean, if it's like regressing humans and advancing, I mean, that would make sense.
I think they played loose with that, with that thing.
It did what it needed to do to make the plot work.
But I will say everything with the apes, pretty much across the board, is as good as it gets.
Right.
I mean, you get a star for it just being as impressive as it is.
You're looking at performances that are for the most part, devoid of dialogue. There's some signing, there's subtitles for us to follow along, but these characters have to emote.
Yep.
And they have to express how they're feeling non-verbally. And for them to be able to do that with digital characters and get us to respond is impressive.
Yes.
But even you can take away the veneer of the technology. It's just great performances in those characters.
Correct.
And great scripting for those characters.
Yeah.
So
they talk about whoever these magical they are, but you talk about getting Oscar nominations for roles like this. I think that you could absolutely.
Yeah. Why can't Andy Serkis get nominated for this role?
Maurice, the flat-faced orangutan, should have an Oscar nomination, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
To me, that's the standout character of the film right there, without a question. Andy Serkis is great.
The gentle giant role.
Correct. To me, that character, and I said that about him in the last movie as well. So well-rounded, does not speak English, is only signing, but yet
except for the occasional word.
But you so connect with this creature who kind of bridges that gap between the angriness of the apes and the evilness of the humans. He's sort of like what you want everybody to be.
Yep.
That's what you aspire to be in this world. Like, why can't we just be like that? I was gobsmacked by it, Jared. Gobsmacked.
It's an interesting film where you come away feeling complete empathy for these apes and almost antipathy to humans.
Yeah, I'm sure that was completely.
I'm sure that's by design. And that's fine.
And we didn't.
It's good for a film to have a message.
And I don't know if that was that way in the first one. I think in the second one it was definitely a balanced thing because you had bad apes and you had bad humans, but you also had mirror images of those where they had apes trying to do the right thing and humans trying to do the right things. In this one, not quite so much.
And we didn't even mention what would be, I guess, considered the bad apes in this one, which aren't really bad. They're referred to as donkeys by the humans, and they're essentially apes who have decided that they're just going to look out for themselves, and they've sort of thrown their lot in with the humans and are basically they're donkeys. They're pack animals. Yeah. They're servants.
Again, the motivation for that is a little questionable.
I think it's
I was
fine.
thinking maybe they did like brain surgery or something to make them more docile, but
I think they're just like humans. There's some people just look out for themselves.
They're going to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Donkeys. But one other thing I have to say,
Okay.
let's talk about the director for a second, Matt Reeves. He's come from Cloverfield.
Yeah.
I feel like this guy sort of established himself as a big-time player.
I think this was... Yeah, he handled this film very, very well. I mean, I think this film could have easily dipped into spectacle way more than it did. There's a lot of times where, I mean, it's called War for the Planet of the Apes, so there's a lot of violence in this film. Except for a few times, it wasn't really gratuitous. In fact, a lot of times we didn't even see it. It was off camera.
Right.
With the camera choosing to focus on the characters.
Right.
And how they're responding to it, which is a very mature way to handle a film like this, especially a summer blockbuster.
Correct. And the one thing that's really of interest is that it's called War for the Planet of the Apes, but you don't really see the apes doing a lot of warring.
No, it ends up being...
I mean, you get that in the second film. You don't get that quite as much in this.
There's definitely war, but it's not set up the way you maybe were expecting it to be in this film.
Correct.
So there you go.
There we go. So let's see if the score is set up the way you expect it to be.
The Scope score is 3.5 stars.
So 3.5 stars. It's the only score we give out. All the other Scope score sound bits are broken. That's why we give 3.5.
It is interesting, though. I think we maybe, when we did our summer preview, we thought that there might have been a potential for there to be a lot of flops this year, not to be some great films. There's so many sequels and so many adapted properties. But we've seen a number of these big budget films come out really, really well.
Everything that we've seen this summer, I think has been at least on par of what we expected or better.
Right, and we never bothered with that Transformers garbage.
Yeah.
So
okay, we're having a happy
I
summer.
could have said garbage, and it would have been
garbage.
Sense.
It's just empty calories, Jared. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You just made a new word up.
Or there are cars that are garbage. It has so many meanings. Garbage, guys.
So, Jared, if people want to make up their own words and send them to us, how would they do that?
Right down below. Like, comment, and subscribe.
It's just that easy. So, Jared, thank you for driving. Thank you for setting up the camera.
You're welcome.
Fans, thank you for watching this. We've got more summer movies coming. I just don't know how many more spectacle-type movies are on the way.
I may be going to see Dunkirk on Monday. We'll see. What else we got? We've got the
Atomic
Dark Tower
Blonde,
coming.
Dark Tower.
Atomic Blonde we'd like to see. I will probably make an effort to go see Valerian. I don't know about you, but we'll see.
We'll have to see. So stay posted with more Scope stuff. It's coming, we promise. It's the Scope, your complete culture cast with Jared, Shane, and Adam somewhere there in the ether. So until our next review, bye for now.